Imagine, just for a second, a single device. Not something that treats a specific illness, but something designed to universally assist human health just by, well, by changing your environment.
Sounds pretty ambitious, right?
It really does. Today, we're diving deep into exactly that kind of concept. It comes from a source called Masters Insight, #162, the Universal Patient Assistant Device. The authors are Fuchi Wu and Dage, and it was published in Taipei, July 31st, 2025. And this document introduces something called Little Heaven, or Dia in Mandarin.
Right.
Its creators make this, well, pretty bold claim. It's the world's first universal patient assistant device.
That's a huge claim. Universal.
Exactly. They say it can benefit anyone, any disease type, any stage. So our mission today, as your guides on this deep dive, is to really unpack what this device claims to do.
Yeah, figure out its positioning, the benefits they're talking about.
Precisely. And we should note the tone in this source is, well, it's quite distinct.
Yeah, there's some powerful language in there.
Definitely. Like calling the device a sacred object and the designer the Lord.
Right.
So our aim here isn't to endorse these ideas, obviously, but just to explore them as they're presented. We want to understand the full scope, let you form your own informed opinion.
Absolutely. It's about understanding the vision behind it.
So keep in mind, this isn't about traditional medical treatment. It's pitched as being all about creating an optimal environment, supposedly, for the body to function and heal itself.
A very different angle.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Before we even get into Little Heaven itself, the authors start somewhere else. They focus on what they see as this huge foundational problem, environmental toxins. What's the core idea there? Why is something like this device even needed, according to them?
Well, the core premise, as laid out in the source, is really this pervasive, relentless threat of environmental toxins that we face every day.
Okay.
They get specific. They point to ultrafine particles in the air, things like PM0.1.
PM0.1, those are the really tiny ones, right?
Yeah, incredibly tiny. We're talking 1/10 of a micron. So small they can bypass a lot of our body's natural defenses, get deep into the lungs, even the bloodstream.
Wow.
And it's not just particles. They also mention acid-base gases, heavy metals, and volatile chemical substances, VOCs.
Ah, VOCs, stuff from paints, furniture.
Exactly. Common household products, building materials, even, clothes sometimes. They argue this stuff is just constantly around us.
Okay, so we're surrounded. But how does that link to needing a device?
They connect this constant exposure to a concept they call the toxin load rate.
Toxin load rate.
Yeah. Think of your body's detox system, liver, kidneys, immune system like a bathtub drain. Toxins are the water constantly flowing in.
Okay.
If that drain can't keep up with the flow, the toxin level rises. The load accumulates rapidly, like an overflowing tub.
I see. So it's about accumulation speed.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And they argue this accumulation isn't just, a minor inconvenience. It overloads organs, causes ongoing cell damage at a really small level, and crucially, it weakens the immune system. It forces it into this state of constant, high alert.
So it's the rate of accumulation that's the key variable for them. And they're saying this isn't just some background noise. It's actually a major cause of health problems.
Exactly. That's crucial to their argument. This constant toxic burden isn't a minor irritant. They frame it as a major underlying factor in a whole range of health challenges.
Like what?
Well, they even link it strongly to early aging. The body wearing down faster than it should, and eventually, potentially, the collapse of the immune system. They paint this picture of a silent, invisible enemy constantly pushing our bodies towards breakdown. So Little Heaven is positioned as their direct answer to this fundamental, widespread environmental issue.
Right. Okay, so if that's the problem, this constant toxic bombardment, here's where it gets really interesting. How does Little Heaven, this universal patient assistant device, claim to actually tackle that? They make some incredibly broad, almost universal claims about what it can do for basically anyone. Let's maybe walk through their 5 main points.
Absolutely. They lay out 5 core benefits pretty clearly. First one, maintaining health.
In Mandarin. Maintaining health.
Yeah.
The device, they claim, comprehensively clears these airborne ultrafine toxins. We talked about the PM0.1, gases, metals, VOCs.
Right.
And by doing that, it aims to create what they call a non-toxic, stable, basic environment.
A stable environment.
Yeah. The idea is, in that cleaner space, your body's normal functions can just run more smoothly, and your immune system gets a break. It's not constantly fighting off environmental attacks.
Okay, that's number 1. What's next?
Second, they say it's crucial for aiding patients.
Yeah.
And this has sort of three parts to it.
3 parts for aiding patients.
Yeah. First, slowing deterioration. By cutting down how fast toxins accumulate, they claim it extends the controllable period of an illness.
That window where treatments can still work effectively.
Exactly. Buying time, essentially.
Hmm.
Second, enabling medication efficacy.
Making drugs work better. How?
Well, they argue that a lower toxin background stops the suppression of key metabolic systems in the liver and kidneys. They mentioned cytochrome P450 specifically.
Ah, the P450 enzymes. Crucial for drug metabolism.
Right. Those are like the body's main detox crew. If they're constantly swamped dealing with environmental toxins, they can't process medications properly,
Leading to
potentially drug ineffectiveness or, imbalanced drug side effects, as they put it. So clearing a background helps meds do their job.
Okay. And the third part of aiding patients.
Preserving reversal opportunity. Basically, by slowing things down and helping treatments work, it buys more time for both medicine and the body's own repair systems. This, they claim, increases the odds of stabilizing a condition or maybe even reversing it.
Okay, that's aiding patients. What's the third big claim?
Third is assisting longevity.
Longevity. How does that fit in?
Their argument is pretty direct here. They say premature aging is mainly caused by long-term excessive toxin buildup.
Right, the wear and tear idea.
Yeah, leading to suppressed organ function, immune system collapse. The works. So, little heaven, by blocking toxin sources and keeping you in a low toxin state, is claimed to naturally slow down that aging process and extend your quality of life.
Interesting. Okay, number 4.
Number 4 is universal benefit. And here, they make a really strong statement.
Oh.
They say little heaven isn't some luxury gadget. They call it a sacred object for everyone. Doesn't matter where you're from, your social status, what specific illness you might have, if any.
A sacred object? Wow.
Yeah. It's presented as this universal blessing, offering a shot at longevity and stable living for absolutely everyone.
Okay. That's a unique way to put it. And the 5th point?
The 5th point is framed as goodwill, not worship.
Goodwill, not worship.
Yes. The authors state, quite impartially reporting their view, that the Lord, and they mean the device's designer here, doesn't demand worship.
Right.
The stated wish is just for a world with fewer toxins, less premature aging, less disease. And the source suggests that respect for this Lord will just emerge naturally from people actually using little heaven and experiencing the benefits themselves.
Okay. That's quite a set of claims. And again, just to be super clear, the creators themselves explicitly say this is not a medical device, right?
Absolutely critical point. They state clearly, no treatment function, cannot replace medical treatment, cannot promise a cure.
Instead, they position it as this indispensable core auxiliary system, something that supports medicine and recovery.
Exactly. That positioning is very deliberate. A support system, not a replacement.
So if those are the big, broad claims,
Oh.
how do they try to back this up for, say, the medical community, make it sound more clinical, maybe even irrefutable in their view?
Right.
They talk about 4 medical values, don't they, which seem to dig into the how.
Precisely. To bridge the gap to the medical world, they frame the mechanisms behind those broader benefits as these 4 medical values. Is their attempt to explain how little heaven supposedly achieves these results biologically and clinically.
Okay, let's get into those. What's the first medical value?
The first one ties directly back to aiding patients and specifically slowing deterioration. It's controlling the toxin load rate.
Revisiting that core concept.
Exactly. They really hammer this point.
Yeah.
The rate of toxin accumulation is the key variable in how fast an illness progresses. Continuous exposure, as we said, leads to overload, cell damage, weakened immunity. So the device's primary role in this value is to significantly cut down the rate of toxin input by clearing those airborne particles and gases.
Okay. Less coming in, slower buildup.
Right, which directly slows down the pace of deterioration. And the medical implication, they argue, is extending that controllable period for patients.
Which is critical for things like cancer, chronic conditions.
Absolutely. Anything where time is of the essence. It's about preventing that rapid slide into stages where treatment options become really limited. Buying time, essentially.
Okay, value 1. Slow deterioration by cutting toxin input. What's the second?
The second medical value is enabling medication efficacy. This links back to what we discussed earlier about making drugs work better.
Right, the pharmacokinetics.
Exactly. They explain how a high toxin load messes with pharmacokinetics, how a drug moves through the body, absorption, distribution, metabolism, excretion, the whole journey.
How does it interfere?
Well, toxins essentially compete with drugs, especially for those liver detoxification systems like cytochrome P450.
Ah, competition for the detox pathways.
Yeah. If the system is busy dealing with environmental junk, the drug might not get absorbed well, its half-life could be unpredictable, side effects might get worse, and the overall therapeutic effect is just diminished.
Makes sense.
So the device's role here, by clearing even the finest toxic molecules, is to reduce that metabolic overload, less competition.
And the medical payoff.
The payoff, they claim, is significant. Prescribed meds work more like they're supposed to. Fewer cases of drug ineffectiveness or those imbalanced side effects. Doctors can make more accurate assessments, maybe avoid unnecessary drug changes or dose increases.
Okay, that's a strong clinical argument. What's medical value number 3?
Number 3 is accelerating recovery, restoring self-healing and tissue repair systems. This supports the maintaining health and aiding patients' claims.
Restoring self-healing.
How? The authors basically say toxins are the greatest enemy of self-healing.
Strong words.
Yeah. Their logic is when the body is constantly fighting external toxins, its repair systems are always just, putting out fires. This leads to chronic inflammation, stalled tissue repair, worsening pain, dysfunction.
So the body's resources are diverted.
Exactly. So the device's role, they claim, is to block that constant toxin input, freeing the body from that chronic inflammatory cycle. This allows the actual repair systems they specifically mention, fibroblast and stem cell activity, the cells that rebuild tissue, to redirect their energy towards reconstruction instead of defense.
And the medical implications of that?
Reduce chronic inflammation, potentially lower pain levels, a slower rate of tissue necrosis, that's tissue death, and overall significantly faster recovery after surgery or other treatments.
So it's not just preventing harm, it's actively, supposedly, letting the body heal better, which leads into their 4th value, increasing reversal opportunity.
Precisely. This one kind of pulls the others together and supports that earlier idea of preserving reversal opportunity.
How so?
Well, the source asks, why do medical treatments sometimes fail? Often it's because the patient deteriorates too quickly, or there just isn't enough time for the treatment cycles to work effectively.
Or the side effects become too much.
Right, or the internal toxin background is so high it suppresses the drug's effect or causes overwhelming side effects, making it hard to continue treatment. So the device's role here, by doing the other 3 things, slowing deterioration, helping meds work, boosting self-healing, is essentially to buy doctors more time.
More time, more leverage.
Exactly. More time to implement treatments, adjust plans if needed. The upshot, they claim, is better patient quality of life and a higher probability of actually stabilizing or even reversing the condition.
And they make that point about observability again, right? Doctors might not see the toxins, but they'll see the results.
Yes, that's a key part of their pitch to clinicians. We say doctors will see the improved patient stability and increased reversal chances. It's about focusing on the observable clinical outcomes.
Right. Okay. That lays out the claimed mechanisms pretty clearly. So thinking about specific people, what does this mean for someone dealing with, say, chronic pain or some long-term functional problem? The source singles them out, saying they shouldn't be without it.
Yeah, that's an important point they emphasize. Why single out dysfunction and chronic pain? Because in their framework, these conditions are fundamentally driven by that combination of high toxin load and resulting chronic inflammation.
The 2 core background factors again.
Exactly. So by claiming to directly address both of those, Little Heaven is supposed to help bring the body back into a more controllable, stable state.
And for pain specifically.
For pain, they argue much of it stems from that tissue inflammation and ongoing cell damage caused by the toxic load. So by lowering that inflammatory background, the device could potentially lead to needing lower doses of pain medication, which means fewer side effects.
That would certainly be a benefit.
And they circle back to that clinical observability point.
Yeah.
Patients can't feel the toxins building up day to day.
No, it's invisible.
But doctors can see the difference clinically, or so the source claims. They contrast patients without the device deteriorating faster, recovering slower, pain increasing with patients using it, who supposedly show more stable vital signs, report less pain, and get more noticeable benefits from surgeries or therapies.
So it's about the measurable outcomes again.
Always pointing back to what a clinician can observe and measure.
Okay, so taking a step back, it's not a treatment, but they call it the world's only universal patient assistant device. That word universal is huge, almost unheard of in medicine for a single intervention. What makes it universal in their eyes?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? If we try to connect the dots, its universality, according to them, comes from the fact that it works on the environment and the toxin background.
Right, not a specific disease pathway.
Exactly. It's not targeting one specific cause of illness. Because of that, they assert it doesn't clash with any existing medical plan. Whatever treatment you're getting, this supposedly doesn't interfere. Instead, it's designed to comprehensively enhance things across the board. Improve the success rate of treatments, speed up recovery, make patients more comfortable. And they claim this applies to all disease types, all treatment methods.
Because everyone is affected by the environmental toxin background, in their view.
That seems to be the underlying logic. It's a foundational support, which leads to their conclusion on this point. Little Heaven is an indispensable core infrastructure for the medical system and patient recovery.
Core infrastructure, like plumbing or electricity for a hospital, almost.
That's the kind of fundamental level they're positioning it at. Not an optional add-on, but something essential that they argue healthcare systems should be adopting.
And they even include what sounds like a standard pitch for doctors, right?
They do. It's very direct. Little Heaven has no therapeutic function, nor does it promise a cure, but it is medicine's strongest assist. It can slow deterioration, allow medication to work effectively, speed recovery, and increase the chance of reversal. And then the punchline. Doctors and hospitals should not let patients with dysfunction, chronic pain, or recurring conditions be without Little Heaven.
Wow. That's putting it strongly. Basically saying it's almost negligent not to use it for certain patients.
It really drives home that indispensable auxiliary idea. It's framed as almost a non-negotiable for achieving the best possible patient outcomes.
And how does the source wrap all this up? What's the final takeaway?
Well, it concludes with a statement that's powerful, maybe even provocative, really encapsulating their conviction.
Okay.
They state, any doctor who ignores Little Heaven will directly face accelerated patient deterioration and suffering.
Whoa. Okay. That's a heavy statement.
It really is. It underlines just how fundamental they believe this device is, not as a treatment, but as this essential support for any medical intervention to succeed, almost like a guardian artifact for life itself, as they put it.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, if environmental toxins truly play such a pervasive foundational role, not just in our general health, but in how well our medical treatments actually work, maybe we should be paying more attention to that background environment.
It definitely raises questions about where we focus our efforts.
Yeah. And what does it really mean to optimize the conditions for healing? Is it just about targeting the disease, or is there this whole other layer, the environmental layer, that we've maybe been underestimating?
It's a complex interaction, for sure.
Definitely something to mull over. Maybe even look into more in our own lives, just considering how much our well-being might be influenced, maybe even undermined by the very air we breathe and the spaces we live in.
Food for thought, absolutely.